Shut the fuck up, retard. You're fucking retard.
Great.
You're fucking retarded.
Quite the welcome there. What's up, guys? Welcome to another edition of League of Titans on your League of Titans channel. Today, like it says, we're going to go over some Super Bowl stuff and go over some awards. Before we get into all that, we've got some fresh blood on the panel. What's up, Jonas? How you doing?
Good, all good here in Switzerland. Pretty cold. That's why the hat. Digging the Bears.
Nice.
Happy to be here.
Well, welcome, man. We really appreciate you taking the time.
Thanks.
And you know everybody else, Joe Marzilli and the infamous commish Tony. We'll go ahead and get this thing started. We got some Super Bowl discussions to go with. Tony, go ahead and take it away, man.
So I guess we're kicking it off with the Super Bowl talk. I really care less about the Super Bowl. I can't stand New England. I don't really like Atlanta, but I'm happy they beat Green Bay. And I think the game comes down to turnovers. I think the game comes down to whether or not Devontae Freeman and Tevin Coleman can run the ball, because Billy Belichick is going to take away Julio Jones. And, I mean, Atlanta's offense is high-powered, but I don't know if their defense will be able to hang with Brady or not. So, more likely New England's going to win. That's probably what I think. I'd like to see Atlanta win, but I doubt it happens. So, that's what I think.
Marzilli,
Yo.
what you got?
I'm with Tony. I hate New England. I do not want to see them win. However, I think they're going to walk away. I'm going to say I think the score is going to be about 38-34. New England actually has a pretty good defense this year. Best that's left in between the two teams. And you got Belichick on one side, Brady on the other side. Belichick's great at halftime adjustments, taking away the best players, like Tony said, Julio. But I don't know. I think Atlanta has a small chance, as long as, like you said, Freeman and Coleman have a good game. I think they have a lot more offensive weapons, but we'll see. Can only hope for an Atlanta win, but I don't see it happening.
Right on. Mr. Jonas, what's your take on it?
I'm on the same boat. I think the Pats suck. I hope they don't win. I read something interesting, though, that the Patriots had one of the easiest matchups for their D. So I don't know if they will stick up in the final against those high-power Atlanta offense. I think it comes down to the both defense, which one will perform better. And I hope the Atlanta D, pretty young guys there, I hope they step up and have a big game and win it.
Right on. Joe, what you got, man?
Well, if I could ever have two teams lose, I would not mind it for the Super Bowl. I don't like either team. I personally think the Patriots take it away. They got pretty good defense, although the Falcons have started. Got some pretty good defense going too this postseason. Well, I just think that
Yes, where you going?
by 10. And what about you, Mr. Dave? What do you think?
At the store.
You're gonna go get some food at the store? Oh, okay.
Go get some food at the store. Bye-bye.
All right, bye.
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 Go get me some food, okay?
Okay.
Yeah, I got to agree with all you guys on it, on the Patriots. Definitely don't want to see them win one. I guess the only positive, I don't know if anybody mentioned, was a big FU to Mr. Goodell, given all the stuff that he put Brady and the team through. But, at the end of the day, I'd like to see Atlanta win it, not just because they're in the same conference or division as my team is, but, I'd like to see them win it. I'd like to see Matty Ice get the ring, and I think it'd be nice running down, just trickling off what you guys said there. Atlanta's defense isn't the best. It's really all about that offense, and that's pretty much the way it's been all season. The defense have had a few, they've had a few interceptions here and there, a few good plays here and there, but the talk of the town is definitely their offense.
What's this?
The Patriots offense and the defense, regardless who's behind the center, it doesn't really matter. That team's always been good. Belichick, he's always going to continue to, pick apart teams the way he has, and he's got 2 weeks to do this one. It's going to be a close game. I'm pretty sure the Patriots are going to win it, but hey, Atlanta might surprise us. Appreciate you guys'.
I just want to throw in one extra thing about the game. About the one thing going for Atlanta is Dan Quinn. I think he has experience against New England. He's been in the last He's been in the last couple Super Bowls for Seattle. So and Atlanta's defense isn't great, but they played great against Green Bay, and they shut down Aaron Rodgers, who was the hottest thing going. So, I mean, Vic Beasley's a beast. So, I don't know if they can get pressure on Brady. That's great, but the thing against Brady is you need pressure up the middle against him because he likes to step up and throw the ball. So I don't know if Atlanta has that. They got edge rushers, but they don't have nobody coming from the middle. So, but that's all I wanted to add to it.
Well, thanks so much. We're gonna segue into the MVP talks and the other awards. Looks like we got Marzilli leading that up. Go ahead, man.
All right.
Well, before go ahead.
No, go ahead.
I was just quick. I wanted to take on the Pro Bowl today that's going in a few hours. I read an article I found interesting. 36 players have declined an invitation for the Pro Bowl this year. I don't know if that includes the Super Bowl teams or not. But is anybody really excited about the Pro Bowl right now?
No.
I
hate the Pro Bowl.
No.
Complete waste of time.
I never watch it ever.
No.
Yeah, I kind of thought that was a consensus, but I want to get your guys' take on it real quick.
The only reason why the Pro Bowl would be of any significance to anyone is if they had free tickets to go to it and it was close to them. That would be my take on it. But
that's about it.
Yeah.
Nobody cares about the Pro Bowl. The players don't care about the Pro Bowl because it's not in Hawaii anymore, for one.
Well, yeah, you took a lot of the
shit about going to Orlando for the Pro Bowl. So
I agree.
I mean, they barely wanted to go when it was in Hawaii. What makes you think that it was going to Orlando?
All right, probably get back on topic now, though. And Mike, your awards for this year, since they haven't come out yet, what are your assumptions and guesses here?
All right. So I kind of just threw this. I just kind of just threw this thing together just now. My shitty internet, shitty computer. We haven't really had the time. But let's see. So the MVP, I think it's a hands down award. Matt Ryan deserves it. He's through 373 completions, through 534 passes, completed 373, had a 69.9 rating, threw for just under 5,000 yards, 49-44, 38-7 touchdown to interceptions, and a 117.1 quarterback rating. I think Tom Brady is a candidate. However, I don't think he's going to get it. Matt Ryan, I think, got it by a landslide. Brady in 12 games was 291 for 432, 67.4 and 35-54 with 28-2 and a 112.2. If you averaged his game averages for the year over 16 games, he still falls just short of Matt Ryan with he would end up having 4,739 yards and 36 touchdowns. Aaron Rodgers started the season off 4-6, but down the stretch was one of the hottest quarterbacks. He finished 401 for 610, 65 completion percentage, and 4,400 yards on the season. 40 touchdowns, 7 interceptions. During his 6-0 run, not including the playoffs, just including regular season. He threw 16-67, had a 71 completion percentage and 15-0 on the touchdown interceptions with a 121 rating.
Daddy.
Thank you. I gotta have my cake first. All right. Thank you. All right. So yeah, that's my thoughts on the MVP. Am I just running through this?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, we can run through it.
All right. Rookie of the year. I don't think there's any question about that.
Bullshit.
Ezekiel Elliott, probably, hands down. I think you could throw Dak in there as well. I still think Zeke's going to take it. Zeke's numbers
What
were.
about Jordan Howard?
Oh, whoa. Calm your tits.
Jordan Howard.
Listen. All right. So Ezekiel Elliott, 322 carries, 1,631 yards, 5.1 yards a tote with 15 touchdowns. Let's see. Weeks 3 through 6, he had 4 straight games of over 130 yards. I want to say he was either the first rookie or first NFL player to ever do that. I forget. What else I got? What do I have here? Oh, yeah, 32 catches for 363 yards and a touchdown. And he had 8 100-yard games. Best rookie by far, in my opinion. Not trying to be biased, being a Cowboys fan, but he really was. Dak led the team to a 13-3 record. He was a 4th-round pick. He was 311 for 459, 67.8 completion percentage. He had 36.67 for yardage, averaged 229 a game, 23 touchdowns to 4 interceptions with 104.9 quarterback rating, which I think was the best by a rookie ever. Also had one of the best rookie seasons for a quarterback, tying the all-time record of wins, which was by Ben Roethlisberger in 2004 for 13 wins. Had week 16 not been a preseason game for the Cowboys, he would have had 14 wins. Now on to Jordan Howard. Yeah, he had a great year. 15 games, 252 carries, 1,300 yards, and averaged 5.2 yards a carry on a shitty Bears team. Well, I think maybe you can give him a few votes. He's still not going to get it. I threw another candidate in there. Just give him some recognition. Michael Thomas for the Saints, who had 92 catches for 1,100 yards, 9 touchdowns. He had 18 catches for over 20 yards and 1 40-yard catch. Again, Zeke has it. End of story. Maybe we'll see a tie. Co-rookie of the years.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, Jesus Christ. Go fuck yourself. All right. No, I don't do that. All right. Offensive player of the year. I got a couple candidates here. Drew Brees. He was 471 completions for out of 613 attempts, 73 attempts. I can't read my own handwriting over here. He had a 70 completion percentage, 5,200 yards, 37 to 15 touchdown interception ratio, and 101.7 quarterback rating. This was also his 5th 5,000-yard season. I think you could throw David Johnson in there, 273, 293, 273. I don't know. Carries for 1,239 yards, 16 touchdowns. He also had 80 receptions for 879 yards and 4 touchdowns.
Hey, on that note right there, Marzilli.
Yeah, what's up?
Can you tell me how many receptions Zeke had this season?
Yeah, as a matter of fact, I can. 32 for 363 and 1 touchdown.
All right, and what was David Johnson's receptions?
80 receptions for 879. But David Johnson's not a rookie, so what the?
I'm just saying, man. I'm just saying.
This is why Zeke's not Offensive Player of the Year. You see how we separate those two there, Dave?
I just asked a question, faggot. I just asked a question.
Yeah, so David Johnson, he outdid Zeke by, I want to say, roughly about 400 all-purpose yards. So, you know,
about 5 touchdowns.
Yep. So
you guys could have had him for the price of Zeke. You and Joe, asshole.
Yeah. Well, we all know who won that trade.
No, I agree.
I
wish I didn't trade it. I'm just hoping he comes back next year.
Yeah, hopefully he was trash this year.
Trent Richardson Jr.
Who?
Gurley?
Yeah, maybe last year, not this year.
Well, he got nowhere to go but up, really.
That's true. Okay, so back to this. Another candidate I would say is Le'Veon Bell. David Johnson also averaged 4.2 yards a tote. Le'Veon Bell averaged 4.9, 261 carries for 1,268 yards, 7 touchdowns, 75 receptions for 616 yards, and 2 touchdowns. And he only played 13 games, I believe. If I had to pick one,
please do.
I'd probably say Drew Brees out of those guys.
Because of the 5,000-yard deal?
Yeah, right.
Drew Brees is not Offensive Player of the Year.
Yeah, well.
5,000 yards is a lot, man. I don't give a shit.
He does it every year. He's done it like 5 straight years.
Yeah.
The Saints
throw about 85% of the
times a year.
So
that's like never mind. Go ahead, keep going. Sorry.
All right.
Who's next?
Comeback player of the year. I got Jordy Nelson, 97 receptions, 1,257 yards. He averaged 13 yards a catch, had 14 touchdowns, 19 catches of 20 plus, and 4 catches of 40 plus. Yeah. I got Bell in there. I already read off his stats. And Andrew Luck, I'm gonna throw in there. Since he only played like 7 games last season, due to a whole bunch of injuries, shoulder injuries, and whatever else he had. He was 346 for 545. What the fuck did I write here? Oh, 63 completion percentage. That's what that is. Yeah, 4,200 yards and 31-13 touchdown to interception ratio. And 96.4 quarterback rating.
Get that Panthers off the fucking screen.
What?
I'm gonna put my ass on the screen.
Nah,
please don't.
Thanks, Mike. You got anything else to add to that?
Yeah, Jordy's gonna get the comeback player of the year. And my apologies, but I forgot the defensive player of the year. You know, I was running a little behind. So yeah. I don't know.
All right, Joe, follow him up.
Well, I'm going through kind of defensive player for the year. I don't got stats on hand right now, but I'll throw out a couple. Von Miller, I think he should be in it. Landon Collins had a real good year this year. Oh, I got to do it. It's a homer choice. I don't think he'll get it, but I think Bobby Wagner should get it. I think he led the leagues in tackles this year.
I was actually looking at the stats of the defensive players just off of tackles. I believe Wagner was second or third. I want to say like Vic Beasley led the league with like 165. I think I'm not 100%, but
okay.
Yeah.
I knew it was close. Close.
Yeah. He was definitely close. I'm pretty sure he had like 135 tackles, something like that.
Let's see. I got a combined 167, 85 solo, 82 assists with 4.5 sacks, 3 passes defended, 1 INT.
Yeah, just name off who you think's going to win and all the awards.
Who I think's going to win? I don't know. I think it's a toss-up for me between Callie Mack and Von Miller.
Yeah, you're probably right. What about the other awards?
What?
Oh, I agree with most of them. I like Matty Ryan for the MVP. I like Zeke's going to get the Offensive Rookie of the Year. That's pretty much guaranteed. I think Howard should be mentioned into it. He had a shit O-line, and he put up some good numbers. Also, I mean, a lot of all-purpose yards. Tyreek Hill probably would be in the candidate range, but I doubt any of those get it. It's going to be Zeke. Offensive Player of the Year, probably Bell. Like I said, Defensive Player, Von Miller or the Callie Mack. Comeback Player. I think Murray should get Comeback Player personally, but I think Nelson would be right in there with him.
Yeah, most definitely. Anything else, Joe?
Good. I'm good on that.
All right, Jonas, you're up, man. What you think?
I mostly agree. I think MVP
It's in the bag.
Ryan.
Hey, Mike, mute your mic, man.
I think it's going to be Ryan or Brady. I'm picking Ryan, just because of the suspension of Brady. Rookie of the Year should be like almost anonymous with Zeke. I like Howard, of course, but he didn't have the numbers that Zeke had. So offensive player, I would go David Johnson, like over 2,000 all-purpose yards. That's pretty big. Comeback player, Nelson or Murray. Maybe leaning towards Murray. And defensive player of the year, I would go with Beasley.
Ooh, nice.
At the foul.
And when you guys say Murray, you guys are talking about DeMarco, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough. Thanks, Mr. Jonas. Anything else?
For the moment, no. That's all.
All right, Flores, what you got?
I'll make mine quick. Matt Ryan's MVP. Offensive Player of the Year is David Johnson. Rookie of the Year, offense is Zeke. Rookie of the Year on defense is Joey Bosa. Who am I forgetting? Comeback of the Player of the Year. I like your guys' pick of Murray. I was also thinking the first person I thought of was Jordy, but another person to throw in there would be Jimmy Graham. He's coming off a bad injury.
That's true.
Year. But that's between Murray or Nelson. I'm good with either one of those winning. Defensive Player of the Year. I think Von Miller's going to get it, but personally, I think Khalil Mack should win. The Raiders were a better team this year, and that dude just wreaks havoc all over the field. So, none of us said Coach of the Year, which is Garrett, Jason Garrett.
Yeah, forgot about that award. I'd agree with that.
Yeah, you two would.
Dude, we were 4-12 last year and fucking led by 2 rookies, and we went 13-3. First round bye, home field advantage. Not biased, of course.
It's all fair points. Just
because your trash bag team went like fucking 5-11.
Here we fucking go. All right, that's enough. All right, my turn. My turn. All right, that's good. That's good. We'll save that for last. I agree with all of y'all.
Just went on the attack, man.
No shit. No shit. I've got to go with either Matt Ryan or Matt Ryan. Matt Ryan's gonna be my MVP. all out. I guess offensive rookie. Fuck, I got to go with Zeke. I guess.
You guess.
I don't really have much of a choice. I mean, I could say David Johnson, but I mean not David, but what's his name from the Bears?
Howard.
Yeah, Mr. Howard.
Dak would be 2. How's Dak not 2?
Because Dak's a fucking QB, man.
He's
So what?
But he was rookie of the year. Zeke's gonna get rookie of the year, but
I
Dak.
would give it to Dak before Howard. Howard and Zeke played the same amount of games, and Zeke had way more yards, like about 300 more yards.
And the Cowboys had about 10 more wins.
Yeah. And Howard only had about 8 touchdowns. Zeke had 15. So, I mean, not to take away from Howard's. Yeah, I think it was good, but I really don't think you can put him in the same conversation. Sorry.
Okay, go ahead, Dave. Sorry.
Fair enough, you fucking Cowboy homers.
Heard that.
The coach, yeah, I'll go with you guys on the Cowboys coach. Yeah, I mean he came back, but at the same time, look at it. You know, you have to look at Atlanta. Look at where they came from last year versus this year. I mean,
They started from the bottom. Now they're there.
right. I mean, the same type of year that they had this year is the same type of year that the Panthers had last year. I mean, a few good defensive plays, a few good offensive plays, got it put together. I mean, same with the Cowboys.
Plus, it's only Quinn's second year as head coach too.
That's true.
Next year, that offense is taking a step back because their offensive coordinator is going to San Francisco, though.
Yeah, there's
So Matt Ryan's going to go back to being the Matt Ryan we remember his first 8 years.
I don't know about that. We were all expecting Matt Ryan to lose his shit in the middle of the season, and he never did. He stayed true even in the playoffs. I mean, he still threw 200, 300, 400 yards. I mean,
Thanks to Kyle Shanahan.
Well, okay. I guess talent and being able to read Julio and the other stuff doesn't count.
On the wrong feet.
I don't know.
Where are you going?
You wish.
What?
All right. So that's everybody. Thoughts on the NFC? Lock and strong. Hey, Marzilli, Mike, mute your mic, man, please.
Milk? Yeah. Milk.
What am I doing?
Mute your mic.
Oh.
Thank you. We're gonna go over the NFC teams looking. Which teams looking strong? No, just the background. That's all. He's not in timeout.
He's in
Come on, man. All right, so we're going to go over the NFC. Which teams are looking strong next year? Which teams are looking weak? Who need some good drafts? Hey, Jonas, you want to go ahead and talk about the NFC North and West?
I can do that. Yeah, for sure. I start with you said West, didn't it say East?
NFC North and NFC West.
Oh shit! Damn, I prepared East, so
that's fine. Go ahead.
So I start with North.
All right.
My mistake. I think the NFC North is going to be pretty competitive next year. Packers always playing good with Rodgers there. I guess in the draft it depends what they do with the running back game. Do they rely on Ty? Do they get back Lacy? Do they draft someone new? And of course the secondary. I think they can improve there. If they do, they will be a Super Bowl contender with Aaron Rodgers on the center. If not, it will look like similar like this year, I guess, somewhere in the playoffs. Lions next. They're also the secondary is one of their weak spots, as well as the running game. I don't think that Abdullah or Senner or Riddick or Washington is the answer for them. They can do better, and if they don't, I think they will be in the Bears territory for the next 2 or 3 years. For the Vikings, also the running game is one big question, what to do with AP. Does he stay? If he stays, will he be healthy or not? If he's healthy, he's a beast, even though getting old. I think they will trade him. if they cannot settle for a team-friendly contract because he will be too expensive. And they especially need also to have a second wide receiver. I mean, they drafted Treadwell. He was like a fucking mess. I had him in like 3 or 4 leagues, and he played like 5 snaps or so. They have Diggs. Diggs is good, not too good though. They can improve there for sure. And also, it will get interesting when and if, sadly, Bridgewater comes back. I hope he does. I just traded for him in our league. I think he's a decent QB. He's not like a top shot, but he gets his numbers when he's ready. But that will be the question for them. For my Bears, I cannot say the same thing as Jeffrey did, that we will win the Super Bowl next year. But I'm pretty convinced that we will do better and that we can compete in the NFC North. I don't think we will win it, but with a good draft, hopefully a better QB, 6 to 9 wins should be possible. And the team is still young, so it's something for the future. One interesting statistics, though. I mean, we all know that the Bears quarterbacks suck. I mean, Jay Cutler is like awful. Matt Barkley is even worse. But nevertheless, they had like, I think they were like 15th in passer rating for quarterbacks over this season. And you know who played. So I think they're not as bad as they seem now, beating Forte's rookie season records, most of them. So I think they're good there. Defense is getting to step up. They have some good pieces at linebacker. They have now Leonard Floyd, if he stays healthy. It's a big shot. So I think they will be better, but not winning it, sadly.
Well, hey, you never know, man. You never know. They may make some killer trades and pick up some good guys. And
you never know, your team might go from like 15-1 to like 4-12, like Dave's.
Shut the fuck up. Does anybody? Do we want to comment on anything that Jonas has said, or we just want to move on?
The division sucks.
Your division.
The Bears suck. The Lions suck. The Vikings are okay. The Packers are good because of Aaron Rodgers.
Well, since we're in that division real quick, what's everybody's thoughts on AP coming back next year? You think it's with the Vikings or something?
He's getting cut.
Everybody says he's not going to be.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Yeah. His cap number is like $18 million next year, and they can get out of his.
Yeah, no, it's ridiculous.
They can get out of his contract clear and free, so they're going to cut him. I think they owe him money by March 11th. I read, so he'll be cut within the first week or two of March, and we'll see where he goes.
Hey, Mike, unmute your mic and speak.
You're on timeout.
What am I speaking of over here?
Any comments?
No, just I don't think AP is going to be back either. And it would be interesting to see what the Vikings do as far as their quarterback situation. Teddy Bridgewater, he probably will not play at all next season. So
what? Is he still going to be hurt, or they're just
No, his knee injury was like very serious. Came out a few days ago. Like he most likely will not play next year.
Yeah,
I didn't hear that.
I heard a conflicting report that he won both ways at this point. I don't know what's going to happen.
I mean, I haven't heard that. The only thing I heard, and I haven't heard anything since then, was that he will not play. Well, there's like a great chance that he will not play at all next year.
Oh shit.
Yeah. Well, I guess like it was a conflicting report, like Joe said. One report came out saying he'll miss all next year, but then another report came out saying the Vikings aren't ruling him out for the year yet. So, but more than likely he'll start the year on PUP, and he'll miss the first 6 to 8 weeks anyways. So if he does play next year, it won't be till like the last month of the season.
The playoff stretch.
Yeah, and they don't need to worry about that.
At that point, do you give a QB that? And if they're in the playoff, don't give the reins over to him though.
Well, you never can tell with that team, though. I mean,
They got a hell of a defense.
yeah.
They do.
Bradford sucks. Peterson's leaving, and I don't really like any other wide receivers. I know Diggs had a pretty good year, but I don't. To me, I don't think he's that great. So
Fair enough.
I think they got a good wide receiver in Adam Thielen. He had a pretty good year.
Oh yeah, he did do pretty well. I mean, he basically told Treadwell to sit the fuck down. So
Treadwell didn't do shit. Talk about a disappointment last year.
yeah,
He got hyped up so much preseason, man. I mean, hyped up so much.
He had less than a dozen catches all year, I think.
Yeah. We have like 3 catches, maybe played in one game?
something like that.
Yeah, 1 or 2 games, something like that.
And I think he didn't play until like the end of the season.
I guess he had trouble picking up the playbook. He has the IQ of like Forrest Gump.
All right. Any other comments on NFC West and North? Moving on. Let's go ahead and start off with the. Say what?
Did we cover the NFC North?
Yeah, he did the Packer.
Or West, I mean. We didn't cover the West.
Oh, go ahead, Jonas.
We didn't do the West.
Yeah, as said,
Oh, that's right. That's right.
I skipped the West. I did the East. That was
Well,
my
Joe,
mistake.
well, let's let Joe go ahead and cover the West then. You know that's
Yeah.
what he's chomping at the bit for.
Oh, no, that's all good there. I don't know. Right now, West stuff going down in a lot of the teams. Obviously, horrible season. A couple of you guys, that was a Super Bowl pick, I believe, and ended up doing real bad. I think they need to look at a future quarterback situation down there. Fitzgerald's only going to do a year, 2, maybe tops. So maybe look into some better wide receivers down there. They got a solid defense and a pretty good O-line, though. David Johnson, he's got some good backups behind. I don't see many issues on that. There's not a lot they need to do. Rams, I don't know. Where do you start there? Quarterback, what's up with Goff? How's that going to work out?
You're so bad.
The defense is still solid. Gurley had a horrible season versus what the standards were for him coming in. How's he going to rebound? 49ers, again, another coach coming in, another GM coming in. Got a few good players, like Bowman and no, I don't like the quarterbacks down there. Cap defenses know what to do with him. He can't do much besides run with the ball anymore. Seahawks coming off a disappointing season. Probably need to address some issues on that O-line, I think would be my first thing, but we'll see how that goes. Also, Ham ain't coming back maybe. There's talk about cutting him and is avoiding the cap. And Earl, his injury, we need to get some safeties back there for shit. Get some young guys in the draft. So that's about the West as I can think of it.
Wait,
any comments?
Did you say that they're talking about getting rid of Cam Chancellor to avoid cap issues?
Yeah, I've heard talk of it.
I think that would be a big mistake, but
I don't see that happening.
I do too. I do too.
But I'd enjoy it if it happened.
bring them all to the 49ers.
No.
Where the rest of the asshole defensive players are.
The rest of the butt pirates.
Any comments on NFC West?
It sucks.
All right, moving on. We've got the NFC East and then the NFC South. I'll go ahead and start off with the NFC East. Cowboys, great season. Ended up one and done, but that's okay. They've got 2 great rookies that pretty much carried the team. Yeah, that's exactly what happened with their team, Tony. They were one and done. The Giants, I mean, they went 11-5. You know, they had their big media time with Odell and the kicking net. You know, that seemed to be the talk of the season. That's really the only thing that you're going to fucking remember in 2016 with the Giants is that kicking net and Odell Beckham's love affair. The Skins, you know, saw them play against the Panthers this season. They looked okay, but you know they still have some holes to fill. Their defense was all right. You know, with Josh Norman, I mean, he did his thing. Wasn't really anything spectacular. Not like you know last season with the Panthers, but you know, hey, they picked him up. The Eagles, they looked okay. I mean, yeah, they went 7-9, but you know, to me, they still look good. Their defense still look good. They may have some holes to fill on the O-line. They've got, you know, obviously they've got quarterback issues that they need to address. But you know, we'll see what happens. Any comments on NFC East, Cowboys guys? I know you got something to say.
Cowboys are the
going to
shit.
own that division for years to come.
God.
And I do have a comment, Dave. Yes, we were one and done, but where were your Panthers at?
We weren't even talking about the Panthers. We were talking about the Cowboys.
Yeah, I know.
I just made reference. I wasn't even trying to.
I made reference too. At least we were in the playoffs.
So. Thank you for your comment, Mike. Anything else?
Nope.
No, you make a good point. Yes, your Cowboys made it to the playoffs. The Panthers did not. Speaking of which, we're going into the NFC South. The reigning division champs, the Falcons, are going to be playing the Super Bowl next weekend. We'll see what happens with those guys. You know, we already talked about the Super Bowl. The Buccaneers went 9-7. Winston looked really good to me. There was some issues. I think they need to. I think they really need to work on their receivers. They've got they've got one Vincent Jackson, but you know he can't do it all. They need some better receivers. They need some guys that are going to be open. And just like with the Panthers, they need an O-line that's going to protect Jameis, to give him time to do what he needs to do. The running game looked okay. They did all right. That still remains to be seen. We'll see what happens in the off season. The Saints, I mean, what can you say? Drew Brees, 5,000 yards again. I thought if you looked at the way that I drafted this season in our league, I had almost every single one of their fucking running backs thinking that, well, at least one of them is going to do something this season. And, of course, they all were fucking bums. They didn't, they did not produce like I thought they were. Again, it was just a Drew Brees show, throwing to, the 20 receivers that they've got on their core, in their core. But that's the way it goes. Panthers 6-10 definitely have some offensive line issues that need to be addressed. Definitely going to have some defensive issues now with Kuechly suffering, a couple of concussions this year. I don't know how that's gonna affect him going forward. If he takes a couple more hits, man, he may be done for the rest of his career if he knows what's good for him. But who knows? We'll see. Some of the rookies, I was really impressed with Bradbury. I was really impressed with the other rookie that they've got over there. They for their first season, they did okay to me. I mean, they've still got some growing pains on the defensive side that need to be worked out. But of course, they've lost their DC and their linebackers coach. Both of those guys have gone to Buffalo. We'll see what happens with this new DC that we've got. And then there's Cam. There's Cam. Yeah. Any comments on NFC South, guys?
Well, what do you think about needing a running back down there in Carolina? You guys still got faith in Stewart and his backups?
Well, I was trying to avoid that issue. A lot of people around here are, they're literally calling for Stewart's head. They're wanting, that big rookie Fournette. They're all You know, their panties are all wet for Fournette. They want to bring him in. They think that we bring in a halfback and that's just going to change the entire season. You know, and my whole thing is what's good in having a superstar rookie halfback if you don't have a line that'll fucking open up a hole for him. I mean, there's no point in it. There's just no point. If we had half the O-line to open up for Stewart, he would have been good. But he ended up getting injured because, again, no coverage, no ability to block, no ability to open holes for him. A lot of people seem to forget that if you don't have the line, if you don't have the structure in place to protect your people and open up holes for them, you can't produce points. You can't score. It's just impossible. Dallas is a prime example. They got one of the, if not the best offensive line in the entire league. And Zeke makes it look easy. And the reason why he makes it look easy is because of that offensive line structure that they have in place. Yeah, I understand what you're saying, Joe. I don't feel like going out and getting, a big name halfback is going to fix the issues that we have on the offensive side of the ball.
Statistically, the running back.
Go ahead, Joe.
I was just saying, statistically, at the rim has the highest rate of finding players later in the draft or even free agency. They go on to contribute good numbers to a team, so it doesn't got to be a top pick.
Well, that's the argument that that Tony and Anthony have on a weekly basis. Halfbacks and running backs are a dime a dozen. I mean, you can go out and get one anywhere. Their lifespan from a football standpoint is very minimal compared to a quarterback or say a wide receiver. But nowadays it's about the high-powered, high-scoring, bust through the hole, Zeke Elliott style. That's what people want to see, and that's what they're going to talk about.
I'll tell you what, when Adrian Peterson went to Minnesota, his offensive line wasn't the almighty offensive line. And AP's done perfectly fine the last 10 years. If you can get someone like Leonard Fournette, who's compared to Adrian Peterson, he's compared to him. I'm not saying he is Adrian Peterson, but he looks like he's going to be great. But if you can get a game changer like that and already get him in place, and you can bring in some offensive linemen through free agency or whatever and try coaching them up, then if you have yourself a superstar quarterback and a superstar running back, and you're pretty good on the outside with Kelvin Benjamin and Greg Olsen at tight end, you have to take somebody like Fournette if he's sitting there at 7.
I don't disagree with that.
So instead of – because, the top tackle in the draft is Cam Robinson. I doubt he's going to be there at 7. If he's still there at 7, I guess you could roll the dice and take Cam Robinson and then take a running back in the later rounds. Joe Mixon is a good running back, but he has the domestic violence shit that goes along with him. And you could get him later in the draft. But I think if Fournette's in there, you can't pass on him.
I don't disagree with it. Just as long as there's not as long as Gettleman doesn't pick up another fucking cornerback, I really don't care. Regardless of who they get. Again, to me, it just seems like we really need to work on our line. I know you guys watch some of the Carolina games, and Rimmer's over there on the left side with Orr out. Orr was out just about the entire season. I'm not saying if Orr had been there would have been much difference, but Rimmers wasn't used to playing over there on outside. So, and it just seemed like every time I turned around, he was either getting an offsides penalty or missing yet another freaking block for either Cam or for Stewart.
All right, fellas. Well, I'm getting ready to head out. So y'all can go ahead and rock out with this chat. I'll catch up with y'all later.
All right.
So,
you have a good one, man.
See you, Tony.
Better on, fellas. Good meeting you, Jonas.
You too.
Any other comments on NFC South?
No.
All right. Where are we going? All right, so let's move over to the AFC. Joe and Mike. Mike, you got AFC North and AFC East, man. Take it away.
AFC East, AFC North. All right, yeah. I wasn't able to do much research on it. Like I said, I'm busy. I ran out of time. Fucking Tony and his extra hour stole it away from me, but
I
that's
know.
all right.
Damn it, Flores.
Let's see. AFC East. It's kind of freaking just wing this shit, man. Patriots. They're basically the class of the NFC East or AFC East. Sorry, that was fucking bad. The NFC East. I wouldn't want them motherfuckers in my division. Little cheating bastards. They were 14-2. They've been top of the freaking league for 15 years now. They're gonna be there next year. As long as Belichick and Brady are there, they'll be there. Dolphins. They made the playoffs this year, 10-6. Tannehill's hurt. I think they could probably use another quarterback. Bills 7-9. I think they're right there. They probably definitely need a quarterback. The Jets 5-11 went. Were they 11-5 last year? I think.
Something like that, yeah.
Missed the playoffs due to a tiebreaker. But yeah, they need a whole shitload of help, especially at the quarterback position. Ryan Fitzpatrick won't be there next year. Bryce Petty, he didn't really do much in his little bit of time to solidify probably even getting a shot. Thinking they might go quarterback in the draft as well. Am I jumping right into the North, or anyone?
Go for it.
Yep.
You still there?
I'm there. I think Michael isn't. He seems blocked.
David stepped away.
Yeah. I don't know what happened to
Elon,
Michael.
I guess we could speak on. I don't know. Speak on a couple of the AFC. Jai did. He had a real good season. Tannehill, he's not the QB for the Dolphins, but I thought they had a fairly decent season going forward. Yeah, and then the Gita quarterback Fitz isn't going to be there. Revis is getting old. Forte is getting old. They need to kind of a bunch of to fill in there. Hey, Dave, you back? I think we lost Mike.
Yeah, I see that. He's going to his Wi-Fi went out. He's going to try to join back in. Go ahead and carry on. Continue.
All right. Jonas, you got any thoughts on the AFC North there?
AFC North. I was surprised that Big Ben said that he may be stepping down. I think that would be a huge loss for the Steelers.
Yeah,
it would.
Especially with Brown and Bell also in contract negotiations. So it's going to be an interesting offseason in Pittsburgh. If they can keep all three of them, there will be again a Super Bowl contender in my eyes. But if not, they will be competing with Cleveland, I guess, picking first next year. The Ravens, for me, living in Switzerland, the Ravens, they're never on my radar. I don't know why. That's like the least interesting team at all. I'm not a big fan of them. A lot of people like them. What I read, I don't think Flacco is good. Now Steve Smith is going away, so they will need to fill that hole. Bengals, I was surprised how bad they were this year. I always thought Andy Dalton was good, not too good, but better than 6'9". They have a good running game. They have AJ Green, so I don't know where it went wrong this season. I think they will be better and compete for the win in that division. The Browns are one of their kind. I think they still need another year to rebuild. I think they're starting to get their pieces together. But for me, it needs another year for them. And I guess they will roll RG3 for a year and then find in next year's draft their future quarterback. Because for me, this year's quarterback draft, it's okay, but it's not too good. There's no real leader in there.
Yeah, we were talking about that a couple weeks ago. There's not really much to pick from the QB pool this year for the draft. It's going to suck.
Well, Watson and your guy from North Carolina are the top two, aren't they?
Trubisky, yeah.
And there's also Kizer in the talk.
Well,
yeah.
But as said, they are not
Dave,
from QB.
Go ahead, Joe.
A longtime Panthers fan. What's your thoughts on retirement?
For Steve Smith?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's been talks about him coming back, signing, a small contract, retire with the Panthers. He would like to do it, but he's already said he's not going to do that. They're not interested in doing that, and I don't think he's really that interested in doing that. He's already back in Charlotte. He's already. I think he's already moved back to Charlotte. I know that there's been a few people in the social media that have seen him, running around at the gym in Charlotte and a couple other places downtown close to where he lives at. I think he's still got a house in Charlotte as well. He's had a good run. There's been talks of Hall of Fame. I'm not 100% convinced about that. I mean, yeah, I've looked back at some of the tape and, a lot of the old stuff that he's done. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe a couple of years from now or some shit, but he's a good receiver.
You don't think first ballot?
Say what?
You don't think first ballot Hall of Fame though?
That's kind of a stretch considering. I mean, especially if Ben goes, if he decides not to play anymore, I think he'd be really hard pressed to see a first ballot for Steve Smith.
All right. Yeah, it's a tough position to get a first ballot in.
Yeah, you guys are talking about the North. The Steelers, they'll keep Brown. They'll do whatever it takes to keep Brown. They can put whoever they need to behind the center, but Brown, they definitely. I think they'll do what has to be done to keep him there. The Ravens, I mean, they're the second in their division. They're not much to talk about, but they've got a good. To me, it seems like they've got a good defense. They've just got work to do on their offensive side to get those wins. The Bengals, the biggest thing with the Bengals was their defense. Dalton did okay. Like you said, they've got AJ Green. They've got a pretty stout running back crew. But their defense totally screwed them this year. Game in and game out, it just seemed like, they didn't lose by much on the games that they did lose. And half the reason why they lost wasn't because they couldn't put points on the board. It was because their defense couldn't stop the other teams. The Browns, I'm going to make a bold prediction. They're going to keep RG3. I think they're going to they may end up picking up a rookie or something later on. But I think they're going to try to put all their stock into RG3 and get some wide receivers in there that can play with his style of play. They picked him up for a reason, and they want to keep him. The problem is they got to keep him healthy, and the only way they're going to do that is with some protection. They've got to get him the protection, and they've got to get him the receivers to pick up the ball.
Okay, can I look something up?
Welcome back, Mike. What you got?
Yeah. All right. Yeah. So sorry for my technical difficulties. So I caught a little bit of what you were saying. Yeah, the Ravens. Yeah, like you said, I think they finished like one rush ranked defense, number 2 or so overall. They had a great defense. I think they just need some more offensive playmakers. As far as the Browns go, I have to disagree. I do not think they're going to stick with RG3. They might try to roll with him. But I think the Browns are such a shitty organization. They have no fucking idea what they're doing. I mean, 5 fucking players or 4 players are playing in the Super Bowl that they could have had. Deion Lewis, Taylor Gabriel, what is that? Alex Mack.
Jones too, right?
Jones too.
Yep, Julio Jones.
Yeah.
They gave up like five. Well, they received like 5 first or second rounders, players that I don't even think are even in the league anymore. And Julio Jones is probably like a big freak of fucking nature, and arguably like best receiver in the league, top 2. But yeah, that all starts with their GM. Like they make bonehead decisions. I, however, think that they need to solidify the quarterback position and get a true franchise quarterback. They gave up Carson Wentz last year, and we all know how his season went. Wasn't great, but he definitely has a lot of promise, and I think he's going to be a good franchise quarterback for years to come. And I definitely think with the season the Browns had with the quarterback, they lose like 2 or 3 quarterbacks this year. That they're regretting not getting Carson Wentz. So I definitely think they're going to go probably that quarterback out of North Carolina.
Trubisky.
Yep, Mitch Trubisky. Steelers, who knows? They got playmakers on offense. Wheaton, Eli Rogers, Antonio Brown. Who knows what's going to happen with Big Ben? If he's going to retire. That's actually come as a bit of a shock because he's still good. He's a big dude. I think he still has 3 years left in him. I'm not sure that they really have much of a Super Bowl window right now. They got completely destroyed by the Pats. Not sure they can even get to that next level again, but. So we'll see what they'll do. I think I've seen a couple of like reports like Tony Romo being linked to the Steelers just as a veteran. Or maybe they might try to trade for like Jimmy Garoppolo or something. Who knows what happens there. But I definitely still see them competing 1-2 in the division next year. I don't really see much of a change there. The Bengals, I think they probably use a few more defensive pieces. Dalton did all right. He just might not be the answer. Maybe a few more offensive pieces as well. Receivers. They had a bit of a down year, like you're saying. Like their defense really didn't keep much games. They lost a few close ones. But they had AJ Green. That's one of the biggest playmakers. Tyler Eifert was hurt for a good majority of the year.
That's right.
So that that definitely hurt them. I see them being better next year. They still might miss out on the playoffs. They might go like 9-7, 10-6. But I think that dominant 12-4 year, I think that's behind us now.
It is.
So
you guys, all right, so I guess that leaves the East. Is that right?
East we covered.
no,
AFC.
So now we got the West and the South.
Yeah.
AFC in the South. Right now, see what we got. We got the Allen and Mariota start coming on well. They got DeMarco Murray and they got Hunter back behind him. Looked like he was starting to come in the season. Some wide receivers over there in Tennessee to help it. Maybe a tight end as well. another guard or tackle wouldn't hurt them as well in that area. We're fighting for the division this. They got a chance to compete for the division next year. The Colts, they O-line. They got Luck's getting beat up all to hell. He's wasting his good years. We need to look at running back. I realize Gore did all pretty good this season. A good running back behind him wouldn't hurt. Jacksonville, shit. Thought Jacksonville would have played. I think almost all of us had Jacksonville doing better than they played this year. They started to look decent at the end of the previous season. Shit, new coaching staff coming in. They need some interior defensive linemen. Yeldon hasn't done anything. And bringing in Ivory, he didn't do anything this year. Some O-line in there to help. I'm going to assume it's going to be Bortles. We'll see what that shakes out to. And probably some secondary cornerback safeties in the defense. So they need a quarterback.
Hey, babe.
A quarterback. I think they're pretty solid. The Texans are. Lamar Miller, he did all right for his first season in that system. They got a decent O-line. They got a good defense. If they could just get it because they can't afford all that money they paid Brock. So that's my thoughts on the AFC South. Anybody got anything to add?
Yeah, the Jags and Blake Bortles. It was funny. They talked about when they played that game in London. They talked about how Bortles said that he already knew he had some issues that he had been trying to work through. Hopefully he can get that stuff taken care of. And I was really surprised to see the Titans only come out with the 9-7, considering such the style of play of Mariota and DeMarco. I was really surprised that they didn't perform as well as they needed to. And again, I think that goes back to the same with the just like with the Bengals, they're having some pretty interesting defensive issues that they're going to need to work out. Texans, to me, it's just more of the same from last year. They're just still they're still going through the same shit that they need to work out. Maybe it's a GM issue, like Marzo was talking about with the other team. Well,
Browns.
With the Browns, it remains to be seen. Hopefully they can pick it up. And again, with the Colts too, with Luck and Mr. Gore, he churned out, many, many more yards than what anybody expected. And it seems like that's been the case for, the past 3 years. Everybody said Gore, he's done, he's too old, but yet he still churns out those points, or not points, but still churns out those yards. And to me, it just seems like it's going to be more of the same next year with him. Maybe in another 2 years, they'll need to, really start looking at replacing Gore. But until either A, he gets hurt or he stops producing, I think they need to still continue to run with him, man, because he's a beast, in my opinion. Anybody else?
I'd say a few things. I was actually, highly disappointed in the Jags this year. I actually, had, pretty high expectations for them. They actually worked on their defense in the draft last year, and really, revamped it. But I think with that said, with their defense being a lot better this year, they were actually closer in games, which I thought, hurt probably, the offense a little bit. Bortles wasn't getting his, garbage points, like he did in past seasons. So I think that was, kind of a flaw that was shown. I'm not really sure that if he's going to have that job next year, he may not. They probably, use some, offensive line help. TJ Yeldon, they might. He hasn't done too well. He's had some good games. I know Joe said they couldn't use a running back. Chris Ivory, like you said, he didn't do much, but I don't know. They might go with that guy. I think his name was Corey Brown, I think. He played week 17 against, was it the Titans? I know he had I don't know his stat line, but I know he had like 24 fantasy points. So obviously, you know, he had a great game. They might lean with him. The Texans, they're a shit show. I mean, they got a good defense, but they need to work out that quarterback situation. Brock Osweiler sucks. And back to the GM, I mean, how do you pay a guy $70 million because he had 7 starts? Like that's stupid. I mean, maybe with another full offseason with the team, I mean, he might improve, but I mean, I really don't see it. I think he sucks. I think he sucks ass. Titans, curious to see how Mariota is going to bounce back next year. I was actually really impressed with DeMarco Murray this year. Joe, you were actually right about him. You know, you actually drafted him a little earlier, but it actually paid off. He did very well. I like the fact that they got Derrick Henry.
He's my workhorse.
What's up?
My workhorse this year.
Yeah, he was. He had a very good year. And once he's done, I mean, they got Henry. They got an all right defense. But yeah, they definitely need some wide receivers. Got to get Mariota some help. But he had a very good year and improved a lot on that end. Just sucks that he got injured. Just like with Derek Carr, man. Like I was actually really looking forward to seeing the Tuck Rule rematch this year. But that didn't happen. Be interesting to see probably which one of those players wins offensive or comeback player of the year next year. Who else is in that? Oh, and the Colts. I think they definitely need an offensive line. I think Andrew Luck right now is just wasting his years in Indianapolis. Just like even like when Peyton Manning was there. I think the Colts were still a bad team. Just Peyton Manning, you know, covered up a lot of those flaws because he was so smart. Like when he went down, they were trash. They were 2-14. You know, their offensive line was exposed. Peyton Manning, you know, covered those tangibles, you know, and you know, was able to find blitz, defensive schemes, audible, all that good stuff. But yeah, that's all I got. Yeah.
Finishing on up, Joe, or I'm sorry, Jonas, you want anything to say?
Only short. I agree with most what he said. For the Texans, if Brock really can turn it around, I mean, he really sucked this season, but if he can just do okay, I think the Texans will be good because the D is like wow. If he can't, then they will be like this year, winning some games, losing some games, and going nowhere in the end. That's all for AFC South from me.
All right, Joe, finish us on up. I think we got the West to do now.
The West, I think is going to be one of the toughest divisions in the league. Personally, Kansas City. I mean, I think Alex Smith, but I think if they want to get to the Super Bowl, they need to find another QB than Smith. He can't get it in the long run. Can't throw that ball down the damn field. Run back, and I mean, Spencer Ware did okay at certain games, but nothing spectacular. I don't know if they're going to keep Jamal Charles with his back-to-back injuries. I don't know how reliable that's going to be. We'll see what gets worked out there. Probably wouldn't hurt him to get an interior defensive lineman to get a little rushing, some more edge rushers as well. Oakland, I mean, there's a lot of it's on Carr of his injury. Lamar Miller's in a contract year. We'll see what they work out, but they got lots of cap room to spend money on. But they also got Carr and Cooper coming up in a contract that I think there's this year. So we'll see how that all works out. Another linebacker to help with the rush, and interior lineman to help. Cruz serving out with rushing on the quarterback. I think Oakland will be doing good. Maybe a secondary out there, safety. Denver, I mean, they got the O-line they need to work on and the QB to work on. I think they're all right at running back. Everybody's talking they need a running back too. I think with Booker, and I think them guys getting a year on the belt and Anderson coming back, they'll be all right. If they got any major players coming up on defense this year, but they got a nice defense there. I think that's going to be depending on what Denver does, and maybe I've heard Lynch is going to start next year. Paxton Lynch, Sal, if it's him or Simeon in the end. But I think that's going to be a real tough division next year. Chargers going to LA on there. They got lots of needs in the O-line and defensive line. Getting older, maybe finding a QB of the future wouldn't be a bad thing in this year's draft. Give them a couple years to progress. With Keenan Allen and what's the other guys? Oh, I forget the other guy a lot. We'll see how they come back. The whole move thing, they're the big question mark to me on their division. And that about covers my end.
Okay.
All right, Mike.
What's up?
What you got? AFC West.
Yeah. Like Joe said, I think that's going to be one of the tougher divisions next year between the Broncos, the Chiefs, and the Raiders. The Chiefs have a hell of a defense. I just think, like you said, if they want to get to that next level, they should probably look at replacing Alex Smith. He's more of just like a game manager, but he's not good enough. And it's going to be interesting to see what goes on between Charles and Ware. I think Ware had a good year, but more or less to see how Jamal Charles is going to be bounce back, if he's going to be available to play, and what they're going to do with that. Broncos, I think they're a quarterback away from contending for the Super Bowl. Be interesting to see if Romo does end up there. I'm also thinking that they'll probably take McFadden out of free agency. I think he would be a good addition to them. Anderson, he's good. He's injured a lot. And they were down the stretch of the year, they were lacking in the running back department. So I think a nice veteran like McFadden would definitely help them out. And the Chargers, they're kind of a mess. Like see how Melly bounces back next year. See if he can sustain his success he had. Also, be good to see what Woodhead does after tearing his ACL, getting banged up this year. And Raiders, like I said earlier, be nice to see how Carr bounces back. And, maybe we'll see that rematch next year. But I think, the Raiders, I think they're a good team. And I'm thinking that we're going to be seeing them in the Super Bowl real soon. Maybe them and Dallas will build a rivalry. So that's all I got.
Cool. Jonas, anything to add on the West?
I agree with what you said. It's going to be a tough division for years to come. I'm interested to see what the Chargers can do if they don't get injured that much. But still, the Chiefs, the Raiders, I think they're too good for the Chargers. But as Mike said, Denver with a good QB, they will be contending. So it's going to be interesting. I'm really looking forward for this division to watch the seasons to come.
Thank you very much.
Be interesting.
Yeah, I have to agree with all you guys. I mean, especially with the Chiefs and the Raiders both going 12-4, the Broncos going 9-7. They had issues with Simeon or whatever, but their defense still looked really good. Especially in week one when they played the Panthers. I mean, it was just so weird. I wish we could have had that team, that were showing up in week 7 and 8. That was in week 1, and we may have had a chance. But they played lights out week 1, week 2, on the offensive side and defensive side of the ball. It seemed like as the weeks progressed, it just seemed like they got worse and worse. Basically, just come unhinged. And with the Chargers, I mean, and Rivers and Melly and Woodhead, like Mike said, really looking forward to see how they do, see if they can adjust with the new location and all that stuff. But the Chiefs, I'm really surprised. You guys are talking about Aaron Rodgers light. I swear, when he puts a helmet on, he looks just like Aaron Rodgers. That Chiefs quarterback. I swear it looks like Aaron Rodgers reincarnating in that damn helmet. But anyway, thank you guys for the rundown. Let's see what else we got. Oh yeah, we got. So what do you guys want to do? I mean, we're pushing an hour and a half into this thing now. I know you guys. We've got.
I'm thinking we give Doug his rightful salute and kind of call it good. We're pushing the time pretty good here.
Yeah, I agree on that.
All right, well, this is a salute for Doug. Congratulations, you asshole. There you go. You got 4 number 1s there for you, buddy. We're all coming for you this year. All of us are coming for you.
Yeah. He's the one to beat, fucker. Spends no time in the group and contributing, but
Yeah. Hey, Doug, my daughter has a little finger for you, too.
Oh. All right, guys. Anything else anybody want to say before we head on out of here?
I'm good.
Yeah. I think that's about it.
Jonas, thanks for joining us.
Real good to meet Jonas.
Yeah, it was
good
nice
meeting you.
too. I hope we can do it again sometime.
All right, guys.
We got an off season, I'm sure.